Okay, picture this. You're sitting right there across from your client. You've prepared your session strategy, you've checked all your notes, and things are actually going pretty well. But then, out of nowhere, the client throws you a total curveball. They push back, or maybe they just shut down completely, or they hit you with this deeply complicated, emotionally charged statement. Instantly, your heart rate spikes. The silence in the room just stretches out. And you suddenly realize you have absolutely no idea what to say next. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're focusing squarely on counselors in training, peer support workers, and early career practitioners who are out there navigating the unpredictable waters of motivational interviewing. We're going to look at exactly what happens when a session goes completely off the rails, and more importantly, how you can get it right back on track. I mean, it's a completely terrifying feeling, isn't it? What do you actually do when your mind goes totally blank? Well, first things first, let's normalize this. Freezing up mid-session? It happens to absolutely everyone. Seriously. But here's the real problem. When we panic, our clinical instincts usually betray us. We feel this intense, overwhelming urge to just jump in, to fix the silence, to offer unprompted solutions, and frankly, to just start giving unsolicited advice. And in motivational interviewing, pushing harder when you're stuck is literally the fastest way to damage rapport and trigger resistance. So instead of just reacting, we need a reliable system to reset.
Okay, let's dive into this. What we have here is the MI Session mini card, pulled straight out of Module 2 of the MI Session Navigator Guide. And listen, this isn't some heavy textbook you have to memorize cover to cover. It's meant to be a literal, physical lifeline. In fact, the guide actually suggests you print it out, cut along the dotted line, and keep it right on your desk or clipboard so it's visible while you talk. You just glance at it when you feel lost. It's organized into exactly what you need in an emergency: a protocol for when you're lost, signals to listen out for, and a quick checklist to audit your own behavior. Let's break down exactly how to use the whole shebang.
All right, Section 1, the 5-step reset, recovering your footing. Let's talk about what to do when that moment of panic actually hits.
When you feel that immense urge to just say anything to fill the void, hit the pause button. Take a deep breath. Here is the exact 5-step emergency plan. Step 1, simply reflect their last sentence back to them. You don't have to invent some profound interpretation, just give them back what they just gave you. Step 2, ask one open question to put the ball back in their court. Step 3, do not give advice yet. Step 4, listen intently for change talk. And finally, Step 5, slow down, knowing that silence is absolutely okay. The big takeaway here is that getting stuck means we need to take a step back, rather than pushing forward with our own agenda.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is step number 3, the rule to not give advice yet. For an early career practitioner, holding back on advice is often the absolute hardest thing to do, right? I mean, we got into this field to help people. Our instinct is to solve the problem. But right now, you're lost. And if you're lost, giving advice is like trying to give directions in a city you've never even visited. It strains trust, it creates pushback. Your only job right now is just to stabilize the interaction.
Moving on to our next section. Signal versus noise, decoding the client. Let's figure out how to find our way back.
Once you've stepped back and stabilized the room, this next phase of the session becomes kind of like an investigation. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to act like a radar dish. You're listening for very specific clues to find your way back into the flow of the session. We need to separate the signal from the noise. Step 4 of our reset protocol told us to listen for change talk, but to actually hear that, we have to distinguish it from sustain talk. These are the two dichotomous signals broadcasting from your client. Sustain talk is basically the client defending the status quo. It's the reasons why they can't change, won't change, or just don't need to change. Change talk, on the other hand, is the client hinting at momentum. It's any whisper of desire, ability, reason, or need to do things differently. Let's look at what that noise, the sustain talk, actually sounds like in the room. You'll hear things said with this defensive, almost resigned inflection. Things like, well, but I'm not that bad. Or maybe, come on, everyone does it. Or even, I can stop whenever I want to. When you hear this, it's so easy to feel defensive yourself or feel like the session is just completely failing. But remember, this isn't a failure at all. It is just a signal. The client is currently vocalizing the side of their ambivalence that wants to stay exactly the same. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast when we shift to the actual signals we're hunting for, change talk. Listen for the shift in their energy. You'll hear desire, like I want to or I need to. You'll hear ability, I could or I can. You'll hear reasons, it worries me, or I have reasons to cut back. And most importantly, you'll hear commitment and actual steps. I decided to, or I already tried. When you catch these active, hopeful phrases, bing, that is your signal. You reflect that change talk right back to them. And suddenly, you aren't lost anymore. You are following their lead. All right, let's look at section 3, the mirror technique, checking your own behavior. Sometimes we have to look inward.
So the crucial point is right here. Let's be totally honest with ourselves for a second. Sometimes the client is sending clear signals and the session is still stuck. Why? Well, because sometimes the practitioner needs to get out of their own way. I want you to run through this audit in your head. Are you talking more than the client? If yes, stop. Did you just give advice before they even asked for it? Catch yourself and reflect instead. Are you feeling hopelessly stuck on a topic? Just ask them, what else? Did you push them toward a stage of change they just weren't ready for? Recognize the strain, re-engage with curiosity, and reflect where they actually are. It takes immense self-awareness to admit when we're the ones causing the roadblock, but making these micro-adjustments, that is exactly what separates a novice from a master practitioner.
Let's move back to perhaps the most powerful tool of all. Slow down. Silence is okay. When your mind goes blank, your instinct screams at you to fill the space. Defy that instinct. Allow the silence to just sit in the room. Often when we stop frantically trying to drive the session forward, the client will step into that silence and show us exactly where we need to go next. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you feel completely, hopelessly lost in a session, do you have the courage to just sit back, be quiet, and let the client find the way? Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.